Hello and welcome. This is a grammar lesson about prepositions in relation to time, place, and transportation. The aims of this lesson are to use prepositions to express place, position, time, and movement, to practice using prepositions, and to play a game on quizzes. This topic is relevant for all parts of the IELTS test. Now, just to warm up, can you find and underline the prepositions in the small dialogue here? If you like, you can pause the video and take a moment to think about this and hit play when you're ready to check the answer. Ready? Let's take a look. Okay, so here we are. Person A, what are you doing on Friday evening? Do you want to go to a party with me? Sorry, I can't. I'm meeting a friend in London at 7 p.m. on Friday. So the prepositions in this dialogue are here, on Friday, to a party, in London, at 7 p.m., on Friday again. So prepositions show us the relationship between things. For example, they tell us when something is happening and when something's happening or where something is. So here we have on Friday tells us about a time when something's happening. Do you want to go to a party? Shows us movement. You're going to a party. I'm meeting a friend in London is a location at 7 p.m. on Friday. Both show us time when something is happening. Now let's focus on prepositions of time, starting with in. We use in when we're talking about parts of the day, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, but we use at for night. So at night. We use in for months, in December, in January, in April. We use in for seasons, in the summer, in the winter, in the spring, for years, in 1958, in 2007, in 2022. We use it for decades, in the 60s, in the 90s, in the 1980s, in the 1950s. And we use it for centuries, in the 1800s, in the 20th century, in the last century. And notice that for names of the months, we use a capital letter. Now, prepositions of time, but focusing on. Days of the week, on Monday, on Tuesday, on Friday, on Sunday morning, on Wednesday afternoon. So even though we're talking about specific part of the day, specific part of Sunday, we're talking about Sunday first. So we use on Sunday morning, on Wednesday afternoon. We use on for dates, on December 25th, on January 23rd, 2005, on 9th August 1967. And we use on for special days and holidays. So on my birthday, on Christmas Day or Eve, on New Year's Eve, on Easter Sunday, on vacation. So here we're talking about the specific days of these holidays. And notice that in the UK, it is common to say at the weekend or at weekends. And in the US, it is common to say on the weekend or on weekends. Again, for days of the week, we use a capital letter in the beginning. And we use at for times of the day, at midnight, at 9 a.m., at 10 o'clock, at night. We use at for meal times, at breakfast, at lunch, at lunchtime, at dinner. And we use at for public holidays, at Christmas, at New Year, at Easter. And again, in the UK, at the weekend or at weekends, but in the US, on the weekend and on weekends. And here, notice that here we're talking about the public holidays, and we use on for the specific days, on Christmas Day or on Christmas Eve. And here we're talking about the whole holiday, so at Christmas. And again, we use capital letter for the public holidays. This is a summary of when to use each preposition when talking about time. Just a quick refresher then. We use in for parts of the day, months, seasons, years, decades, and centuries. We use on for days of the week, dates, special days, and on the weekend in the US. We use at for times of the day, meal times, at night, at the weekend if in the UK, and for public holidays. Shall we do an activity to practice prepositions of time? Complete the sentences with on, in, or at. Pause the video, take your time, and come back when you're ready to see the answers. Are you ready? Here are the answers. Letter A, I'm busy right now. Can I call you back in the afternoon? We're going out on Friday. Do you want to come? She's meeting us at 9 p.m. Let's talk about this at lunch. Life was very different in the 1800s. I always go to the beach on my birthday. It's a tradition. Now, let's talk about prepositions of place. Well, I guess I could put my face on this side. Prepositions of place. When do we use in? We use in when we're talking about rooms and enclosed spaces. So in the kitchen, in the living room, in the car, in the closet. Places with borders, for example, cities, countries, continents, etc. So in Rio de Janeiro, in South Africa, in Asia. And for some places in nature, in the mountains, in the forest, in the ocean, in the desert. We use capital letters for places with borders, cities, countries, and continents. We use on for street names, for example, on Fifth Avenue, on Oxford Street, on Broadway. And we use it for floors, so on the ground floor, on the first floor, on the second floor, on the top floor. And for surfaces, so on the table, on the counter, on the ground, on the wall, on the street, and on the beach if you're talking about the beach as a surface. For example, I'm going to lie down on the beach and sunbathe. We use capital letters for street names. And we use at for specific locations. So here we have the beach again, at the beach. And this is, for example, if you're talking to someone about meeting them somewhere, you can say, okay, I'll see you at the beach then. But then you're not talking about the beach as a surface, as a flat thing, where you're going to put something on top. You're talking about the beach as a place. So including the whole thing, the sand, the sea, the ocean, maybe the pavement, the whole space, the whole location. At the office, at my parents', at my sister's. We use at for places of business. At the hospital, at the restaurant, at the cinema, at the supermarket. And again, this is a summary of the prepositions of place we just looked at. So we use in for rooms, enclosed spaces, places with borders, cities, countries, continents, etc. And for some places in nature, like in the mountains, desert, forest, ocean. We use on for street names, floors, and surfaces. We use at for specific locations and places of business. Now, an activity to practice prepositions of place. The same as before, complete the sentences with on, in, or at. Pause the video, take your time, and come back when you're ready to see the answers. Ready? Letter A. There's something for you in the kitchen. My friend is picking me up at the airport. She lives on the 15th floor, so she has a nice view of the city. Everybody's meeting at the restaurant at 7 p.m. I was born in Barcelona, but I live in London. He likes going for long walks on the beach. This is a good example. You're walking on the beach as a surface. Now, prepositions for transportation. We use on when we're talking about public transport. So, for example, on a bus, on a train, on a tram in the UK, or on a trolley in the US. On the underground for the UK, on the tube also in the UK, on a subway in the US. On a cruise, on a ship, on a plane. So these are public transport. We use on where only one person can sit on or stand on to ride. For example, on a horse, on a bicycle, on a surfboard, on a motorcycle, on a skateboard. So here we can have many people on the means of transportation, and here you have only one person. Maybe you can fit a second person, but mostly it's for one person. And we use in for private transport. So in a car, in a taxi or Uber, in a truck or lorry. And we use at for places where you wait for transport. For example, at the airport, at the bus stop, at the train station, at the taxi stand. These are all places where you wait for transport. We use to show direction and destination. So for example, I'm on a bus to Chicago is showing us movement, direction, destination. I'm on a bus to Chicago. I'm going to Australia next week. And we use by to show, by shows how we travel. So to show how we are traveling. By road, by air, by rail, by sea. But we use on when we're talking about traveling, when we are walking. So we say on foot. Again, we have a summary of how to use each of the prepositions when talking about transportation. We use on for public transport, things one person can sit or stand on to ride, and on foot. We use in for private transport. We use at for places where you wait for transport. We use to show direction and destination. We use by to show how we travel, and it's after a verb. For example, we are going by sea, and the only exception is on foot, that we use the preposition on. Now let's do an activity to practice prepositions for transportation. Complete the sentences with on, in, at, to, or by. Pause the video, take your time, come back when you're ready. Ready? Let's check the answers. The first one. Oh no, I left my wallet I left my wallet in the taxi. I just got on the train. I just got on the train, so I'll be there at 5. I just got on the train, so I'll be there at around 5 p.m. I enjoy traveling by air because I get to watch movies on the plane. So again, we have a verb here before by. I enjoy traveling by air because I get to watch movies on the plane. He's waiting for me at the bus stop. He's waiting for me at the bus stop. They are traveling to a remote island only accessible by sea. Why make plans? Let's get in the car and drive away. Now we're going to put everything we learned in this lesson together. So complete this text with on, in, at, to, or by. Again, pause the video, take your time, come back when you're ready. Are you ready to see the answers? Here we go. At Christmas, my family and I always go on a cruise. We leave the house early in the morning on December 23rd and only come back on January 2nd. It may sound strange, but it's actually a lot of fun. I enjoy traveling by sea and feeling like I'm lost in the ocean. The cruise makes stops in Rome and Barcelona, so we usually journey around the cities on foot. At lunchtime, we often stop to eat at a local restaurant. In the evenings, we enjoy the live music in one of the many venues on board. On New Year's Eve, there's always a party with a fireworks display at midnight. It's hard to go back to normal life afterwards. And as always, we do have a quizzes game for you to practice this topic further if you like. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and we'll come back to you as quickly as we can. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.